guys, Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are going to be making a floral card. This is going to be my mum's Mother's Day card, so I hope you enjoy making it with me, and let's get crafting. Okay, so using my easy peasy card method and Stampin' Up's Pear Pizzazz, I have made myself a 6x6 card base. Now if you want to know how I make a card using my easy peasy card method, click the link below this video. That will take you to the blog post, and I will include that video on that blog post for you so you can see how I make it. So I've taken some sheets of paper, pattern paper, from this Kaiser Craft Secret Garden, and from this one I took this beautiful cream. It's got like an embossed, I don't know if you can catch that, it's kind of beautifully embossed. It's got like a shine to it on that embossing. It's really, really pretty. So that's from the Secret Garden. And then from Botanica I've taken this plain sort of, well, plainish green piece, and I'm going to use that for some die cutting. This lovely lavender floral piece, so pretty, and then this lovely patterned floral piece which brings the lilacs and the greens all together. So that's my card. So for my first layer I want to start with this cream piece, but what I want to do is just rip and tear around the edges. So this piece here is about 6.5 inches, so what I'm going to do is rip it down so it pretty much fits the front there, but it shows just a bit of the green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I always have to think this through, towards you. If you tear towards you, you get the white edge showing on the piece that's underneath. So I'm going to just do a small piece. I'm using one of these tearing rulers, but you could just do it by hand if you want. So that's all torn, and then when we pop it on here you can see that it's a nice fit. It's just enough to see a little bit of that green coming around the edges, so I'm pleased with that. Now what I want to do is just ink a little around the edges. So I've got this colour cloud, it's Frosty Heather, and I'm just going to take one of these little eggs, as I call them, and then just very lightly, and I want to push up towards that to there so that it slightly rolls the paper as I'm inking, because that just sort of roughs it up a little bit more, and I love the way that the pattern is coming through as well. Go. The next thing I want to do is I've got this beautiful texture paste, graceful pink, although it's got a real sort of lavender tone to it. So I'm just going to get I just want to see which way. I want this one in that corner there, so I want that there. And I just want some coming down from that corner there. I've got this lovely stencil. This is indigo blue, I believe. And then I'm just going to take my texture paste. And I want it bumpy because I want it textury. So I'm going to make sure it's spread on, and then I kind of want to pat it almost carefully because you don't want the stencil to come up too much. But by doing that you kind of add like a little texture to the texture paste, and then very carefully just lift it up, and then you'll see what I mean. I'll grab that in that you've got, like you can see, you've got texture in your texture paste. Isn't that beautiful? Just down in this corner, and for this I can literally just use what's there, because there's plenty on my stencil here. And then again lift up. So you could do it smoother than I've done it. If you can see, look, that piece there is really bumpy, but I really like that where it's got that real texture to the texture paste. I think that's kind of cool, and I like that effect. So now we're going to leave that to completely dry. So the next thing I want to do is just rip some sections to go down here. So we've got a piece like this, then I want to put some pieces down, getting wider. So just these two sections here. I'm just going to rip down the side here, and I can take a little bit more this time, which makes it just a little bit easier. Okay. Like so. So that's these two pieces. Then I've got a piece of lace trim, which is going to sit on the edge of that, like so. And now I've got some of these little pearl string beads. So I'm just going to grab a bit of that. I don't exactly know where I'm going to sit that yet, but I'll just cut a little piece off. Then I've got a little bottle, a little corked bottle, and some beautiful green glitter. So I'm just going to put it over some paper, so any little escapee of the glitter will go in the jar, but also onto the paper. What I would suggest is that you take some glossy accents, and just around the bottom part, which you can, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's like a line, and that's where the cork is kind of stuck into the bottle, and put some glossy accents just up to that point, because what you're trying to do basically is glue it, but the glossy accents is clear, because what we don't want to happen is the card to be, you know, moved about in the post and whatever, and then all of a sudden the whole lot comes apart and you've just got glitter everywhere. Now what you want to do now is not shake the bottle or tip it in any way, because you've got the glossy accents up the top there, so you don't really want to get the glitter on it. And I've also got this lovely heart shaped padlock charm here, so I'm just going to snip one of those off, and a complimentary key, and they're really sweet. I really like those. So that's some more bits there ready. So the next thing I want to do is cut out some foliage, some leaves and things for my card. So really all we're doing at the moment is just prepping all the elements, so that then when everything's all prepped we can start to construct it. There we go. So I've got the green piece of paper, which I just chopped a little bit of the edge because it was just a tiny bit big. I've got some Spellbinders foliage 2 dies. So I'm just going to grab some different ones. And I've got my magnetic platform. This is my big shot. I've got a magnetic platform, a cutting mat, my piece of paper, and then I'm going to be adding my dies. Now I can put several on at a time. Okay. Okay, so that's all the pieces for the leaves cut out. And they're so pretty. So they're all done. Yeah, all we need now is to sort out what flowers I want. Okay, so I fiddle around and I've arranged them. Now obviously until you stick down, they don't look perfect, and also you've got the stalks sticking out as well. The other thing I do is, because you then spend ages sort of roughly positioning it where you want things to be, is simply take my phone and take a picture, and then I've got a record of exactly where everything needs to go. Okay, so for me it's the next morning, and for you it's about 2 seconds later, and here is that beautiful texture paste. Isn't it gorgeous? It's nice and solid now. Okay, so now what we want to do is stick some bits and pieces down, because we pretty much prepped everything. I do want to just add something to the inside. Okay, so that's the inside done. So now to the front. So we're going to stick this down. So to stick this down, I'm going to use double-sided tape, because the paper's got wet with the ink. It goes, and obviously the texture paste, it goes slightly distorted, and if you use wet glue, that will just emphasize it. So if you use double-sided tape, it has an instant stick, and it holds it really tight down, and usually gets rid of that distortion to a good extent. And I've just put my hot glue gun on, because I'm going to need that in a second, so I want that to heat up. Making sure it's the right way around, and then popping it down. Suddenly had a moment that I had it on the back of the card. That would have been pretty bad. So you can see the adhesive has really stuck it firm, although the edges aren't stuck down, but it just makes it much flatter than before, so that's good. So now I'm going to stick down these. I've actually just ripped the ends. I was originally going to leave those straight, but I decided I didn't like it. It didn't really work. I'm using my wet glue because we've got the texture paste down there, so I want the wet glue to make sure that it sticks. I don't want it right up to the edges, because I don't want the edges necessarily to stick down, and also I want to tuck that, let's push that over, I want to tuck that lace down the edge as well, so I just want to grab that now, just lift that up, put a bit of adhesive line just down there, and I could have done it before, but I wasn't entirely sure where the edge of my paper was going to end up, so I thought it was safer to do that now, like so. I think that looks so pretty. Okay, so then I want to add this next piece, and again just using my wet glue, just popping that into the centre there, like so. So now we need to start adding our flowers and leaves and bits and pieces, and I've got a stick here which I'm going to wrap the stalks of these flowers around, just to give it a pretty little twirl, and I think that looks really sweet when you're putting them down and sticking them down. It looks really nice to have that there. Okay, so I've twirled all the little stalks, all the ones I wanted anyway, and now I've got my picture that I took so that I know the positions, and I also did a couple of close-ups of those sections as well, just to help. So I've got that to one side, and that just helps me remember where everything's to go, or at least the main things. But of course I've got these pearls, I've got some little stick pins that I got out. I've got the lovely green one, a lovely little gem sort of in that purpley pink colour, and then a little heart in a pink. So I've got those, and I've got my key and padlock. I've got my little bottle, which is now completely secure, and you can see, hopefully, where the glossy accents, or the fact is that you can't really see, the glossy accents is now stuck that cork pretty firmly. I'm not going to pull it because there's no point breaking the seal, but it's not going to accidentally fall out and get glitter everywhere, which obviously you don't want to do. So I've got my little bottle there. Then I've got all the leaves that we made. Oh, and the other thing I've got as well is I've got these lovely dazzlers. So some Kaiser Craft sparklets, they call those, and then also some Creative Expression dazzlers. I'm just going to grab these pearls, and I want to make sure, I want them to curl around, and I want the ends sort of like so sort of there, I think, because that's where my main flower is, kind of there. I am not the best with a glue gun, but what I have got now is my little, I'll show you in a second because I don't want to burn myself, because as I said, I am not good with a glue gun. In fact, I'm going to use a stick because it is really hot. Kind of the point, I guess, hot glue gun. It's a bit of a clue, isn't it? But let me just show you what I have got now. I've got, I don't know if you can see it very well, I've got this little holder, so it's keeping my hot glue gun, and the beauty is the bit where the glue kind of leaks, you know, because the glue always leaks, doesn't it, out of the front of the glue gun. It's got like a plasticky acrylic base, so the glue literally just peels off, so it's really cool. It makes it a lot simpler. Okay, so I want to put these little flowers in next. What I want to do is very slightly bend these at the end, just to be sure that the ends of them are going to fit underneath my flowers. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit of glue, pop that down just a little bit over those ends, just to be sure that it's going to stay where I want it to stay. So now we want to position these flowers, because I want those leaves to, those petals I should say, to cover that bit of adhesive there. So I'm just going to pop some glue down and pop him in, because, and then this little fat chap goes up just in here. And then I've got this one here, so that's to go there, that's to go kind of here, and that one in there. Yeah. This little one just on there. There we go. Looking good. And then we've got these three, which are just to go down here. There. So that's our flowers all put on. Don't they look pretty? So that's that. Now we want to add our leaves and other bits and pieces. So I'm going to start with the leaves now. I've got an awful lot of leaves here, and I don't necessarily want to put them on, all of them on, that is. But we're just going to pick some and decide. I probably should have put my mat down, shouldn't I? Let's do that while I think of it, instead of getting hot glue all over my lovely mat. So we're just popping that one in there. So it's going to be well stuck, but the beauty is that it's able to have that dimension of it being away from the card, so it looks really pretty and effective, I think. And then let's see where we want to put some of these other bits rather than keep adding leaves. Now, because that's glass, I'm just going to give that a second before I put the bottle down. And also remember, this is metal, so it will get hot. And I just twirled the key, around the little stalk there, so that will actually hold it on as well. Although I glued it, it will have that extra bit of it being actually attached to that little stalk. And then just popping our bottle in before that goes completely dry. I just don't want it to crack the glass, so I just wanted to give it a moment, and it's still wet enough to stick that down. So that's our little bottle in place. And then I just want to think about where I want to put the little pins, and I think they might look rather nice if I could just shove them in here. Okay, I managed to get that in the glue there, so that's good. And then add this little one, just go along with it. And so I've just popped that one down the bottom because I think that looks cute. I think there's 5 there. I like odd numbers, so that works for that. Now I want to add a little dazzler, because I want to add this down here, something here to hide that bit of glue. I think the green looks really nice, and I was just thinking that I quite like the idea of just putting that there just to give a bit of dimension, so I'm just going to add a bit of hot glue just down in that place there, and then I'm just going to pop that down. Just want to lift that petal up, there we go, and pop that coming from underneath like so. I think that just gives a nice bit of dimension because it looked a bit flat compared to the rest of it on that side. Just put a blob of wet hot glue there. Okay, so I've got some little baby dazzlers in purple, and also the little ones, it's got like a pinky colour in there as well, a slightly different purpley colour, so I'm going to put a few of those down because I think it just hides any bits that have got the glue showing, but it also just makes it sparkle, and I know my mum loves a bit of sparkle. So I'm just going to position a few. So like down here, for example, let's put this green one, pinky one maybe, yeah, just peeking out there, but it just hides any of that extra bit of glue as well. And it looks pretty pretty. Let's just do those couple for a minute, because then I'm just going to add a wee bit of glue. And that's just hiding where there was a little bit of glue showing on the padlock there, but it does just make a nice effect as well. And then I think possibly we need another leaf just in here. There we go. think we've more than covered it. Okay, so I just added this one more gem because I really love that dazzler, and I actually felt it just allowed that to flow, finish that flow across the page. You wanted a little gap there, but I still wanted it to look like it was coming down like that, and I think that just added that and made it work really well. So that is our very three-dimensional card all finished. I'm hoping it will go in the envelope. I've got an envelope here that is quite a lot bigger. It's about 6.5 inches, so it should go in. But that is my Mother's Day card for this year, so hopefully she'll like it. I'm sure she will. I think it's beautiful, but I hope you guys do too. I'd love to hear your comments. As always, don't forget, if you're on YouTube, click the link below this video. You need to click the show more, and it will be a link that says corresponding blog post. Click on that and it will have information, and most importantly lots and lots of photos of the finished card, so you'll get to see it really close up because there's so much detail on this one in particular, but the principle's the same for all the videos. If you click on them, show more, you will see a link to the blog post, and there will always be lots of photos for you. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.
We fit like two birds in a house on the corner of 6th and 8th. I've gotta say, who would have thought that we'd be intertwined and quite the same? We are the only game I wanna play today and tomorrow. This flower's blooming all the same. The grass gets greener every day in our place. I'll visit every Wednesday.